Hello and welcome to the 2024 Southland softball season previews. And I'm joined right now by brand new head coach Lacy Prejean and Maggie Darr from Northwestern State. Coach, Maggie, how are you guys doing today?
Great. Thank you for having us. And you said Prejean really well, so I'm impressed.
Well, the secret behind the scenes is that Brad and I had a conversation earlier about
Oh,
how nervous it was saying Prejean. So I'm glad that we're off to a good start, and
yes.
hopefully I can, continue that throughout this. Speaking of good starts, obviously for you, Coach, a brand new start this year in the Southland. First and foremost, welcome to the Southland. How have your first few months settling in Natchitoches been?
It's been great, just getting around the community, obviously learning my team, getting adjusted to them and then being a first-time head coach, that's it's quite interesting, but the best part is getting to know the faces on my team and the players on my team and the personalities and things that we do great and then things we need to work on. But it's been a great transition, and we have 21 girls that are all bought in.
Maggie, let's put you on the spot here first then. Usually coach is reviewing you. Let's have you review coach. How has coach done in her first few months here as a first-time head coach?
I love having Coach Lacy here. She's definitely turned this program around, and she's been busting our butts, but I think she's unlocked a lot of potential that a lot of girls in our team didn't know they had, and I think that's going to really help us this year.
Well, and Maggie, you've been here for a few years now. You've seen the Southland, and this has to be a new experience for you. So in terms of this preseason, what are some differences that you've experienced, obviously with a new coaching staff, compared to maybe what you've had in the past?
I think they've been really big about making sure that our fall and leading up to the spring has been as tough as possible, because if we can push through adversity during that and figure out how to work through that when things aren't necessarily always going well, just like every team experiences in season, then season shouldn't necessarily come easy, but I think we have a lot better chance of doing well if we've already experienced the hard stuff. So that's been a big thing.
So it sounds like a sensible approach to take, but from your experience here so far, what did you know from playing against Southland schools previously? Obviously, being with Louisiana, for so many years, you've had a chance to play against some of the schools in the Southland previously. What was your impression like from afar, and where's your excitement level as you head into this season?
Well, like you said, every year we played McNeese, we played Nichols, so I was very familiar. We played Southeastern, and that was the top three schools in the Southland Conference. So I was very familiar with them. So I knew they were very competitive schools, and they had the potential to improve as a conference. And so when this opportunity came, being so close to Lafayette, I'm from Lafayette, that it was only 2 hours away, and family is very important to me. And I wanted to make sure that we could incorporate, my family and as well as all the players' families and things like that. So the conference alignment, traveling to Texas and Louisiana, it makes it very easy to travel and stay competitive in this conference.
D1softball.com named you the #1 new coaching hire in the country, which I can imagine must feel nice, but also I guess comes with an element of pressure with it. How do you take accolades like that? And, what is your kind of mission as you set out here in 2024?
Obviously, I was flattered, and again, it's I haven't done anything yet. I'm getting to coach the game that I love, that has given me a great avenue to do things and to be around some great people. And I think it's more for the fans, and obviously it helps recruiting and things like that. But as far as the pressure of being the #1 hire, it's kind of I already have enough pressure. I put enough pressure on myself, so it's a great, I'm honored and I'm flattered that Justin would D1 softball would vote that. But I don't win games. It's my players. I don't play. I just try to coach them up the best I can.
And speaking of your players, you do have some experience in this team that you've adopted. And Maggie, you're one of 9 seniors on this team and one of 3 seniors in the pitching staff. So what does that level of experience really help as you do adjust to a new coaching system, but you have players who've seen the league and played against our teams previously.
I think that having a big senior class can definitely be sometimes intimidating, but for the most part, we all have experience. And one of the first things that Coach Lacy did whenever she got here was pull us all together and talk about how she wants this season to be our best season and that it's for us, but we also have to be servant leaders on the team and show our team how to do better throughout the season, things they can work on, pick each other up, make sure that we're kind of taking charge of the personalities on the team and making sure everybody's doing well. And so that was really big. And I think that having experience like that's going to really benefit us. I think we're the biggest class that's come through here in a long time. And the freshman class this year is almost just as big. So I think it's definitely going to help a lot. And we've been taking care of each other and making sure we're keeping the team where it needs to be at when Lacey's not watching.
And just on your kind of personal performance, you averaged nearly a strikeout per inning last year. You need 82 strikeouts to be the 10th player in NSU history, to reach 300 for a career. Are those sort of aspirations things that you look at when you're kind of planning out how you see 2024 going?
I mean, I think strikeouts are fun and they're cool, and having your name in the record books.
I like strikeouts.
Having your name in the record books obviously is exciting, but no, definitely. I mean, as long as people aren't getting on base and people aren't scoring runs, I'm happy. I trust my team to have my back on the field and in the hitting lineup. So as long as I'm doing my job, I trust that they'll do theirs. And if I get in the record books, that'd be awesome. But mostly just looking to wins and how I can benefit my team this season.
And carrying on from that with your kind of newcomers, as you said, we've already touched a little bit on the experience, but when you are bringing newcomers into this program, as obviously has happened this fall and every other fall, what do you kind of tell them about what it means to be a Demon and what Northwestern State softball is all about?
I think that going to a school like this, especially with how small it is, you have a very small community. And so there's a big family aspect on this team. We look out for each other all the time. And if we're not at practice together, we are out somewhere together, hanging out at people's houses. We have the freshmen over for dinner a lot and just making sure everybody's still staying included, whether we're on the field or not. That's been really big. And I think that they've really latched on to how many seniors we have, and they've realized how important it really is, even though they might not realize it yet. They haven't played a season, but just making sure they feel included and they're important because they're really doing competitive things this year and fighting for spots, and they all have a role on this team regardless of what that is. And we just like to make sure that they feel that. As a freshman, I had a lot of seniors that made me feel that way. And so I just want to pass that along and make sure there's a legacy that continues down.
And I want to add to that as well. We had Thanksgiving dinner at my house, and we kind of just opened up the floor. It was an attitude of gratitude, things we're thankful for, and we didn't make everybody talk, but ended up everybody talked. And every time a freshman stood up, they were so appreciative and thankful to the seniors for making them feel so welcome. And they weren't cued to say that. They weren't asked to say that. And it was something you could tell. It was genuine, came from the heart. And I was so proud of our seniors and upperclassmen that really went above and beyond with that servant leadership type style this fall to make those freshmen and newcomers feel welcome. So for them to come out and say that as a freshman, I knew we were going down the right path.
That's fantastic. Love to hear that team spirit, what it's all about. And coach, just on your schedule for a second, you have some tough competition, obviously within the Southland, but the non-conference schedule as well has a number of highlights, going to Houston, playing against Syracuse, and even going down to Austin to test yourselves against the Longhorns. How does that schedule set you up for success when it comes to Southland play?
Well, I think like you just said, we're gonna have some strong tests on the road. And it's going to put us hopefully in some adversity to know how to respond to that adversity and get us prepared for our conference. Because once you get in a conference and you play in a team 3 times, no matter how much that team dominated or those players dominated, but when you're facing the same pitcher or you're facing the same hitters 6, 7, 8 times throughout a weekend, we're prepared for that. We're ready for that and how to make adjustments and things like that. So we're going to get tested really early, and we're gonna have to learn how to throw punches, and then we're going to get punched in our face, and then we're going to come back and throw more punches. That's and we're going to get momentum, and we got to try to create that momentum.
I love it. And Maggie, you guys are starting the season for the Southland. You guys are the first game on the docket against Texas State next Thursday. What's the excitement level like within the locker room right now?
We're very excited. A lot of us being from Texas, we actually know quite a few girls on that team. So I think there's going to be a lot of competitiveness, and you know, obviously Coach Lacy has high expectations for us. So just making sure we're giving it our best, and you know, controlling what we can control. I think everybody's ready to get going. We've been talking about season for a long time.
We're tired of scrimmaging ourselves.
Yes, I'm tired of throwing to our hitters.
Ready to see some real competition. I get it
Yeah,
completely.
yeah.
Maggie, just lastly, just let us get to know a couple of your teammates real quick. We like to kind of ask a little fun question towards the end. You've been so nice about your teammates. I want to hear a little bit more about them. So if you had to be locked in a room for 12 hours with one member of your team, who would that be? And if you had to be locked in a room with someone you really didn't want to be, who would that be as well?
Oh gosh. Locked in a room that I would want to be with would probably be my roommate, Tristan Court. Her and I have lived together for 2 years now, and I swear we might talk about the same thing 50 times over, but it's still just as funny, and it never gets boring. So she's probably one of the most interesting people on our team. So I'd probably want to be locked in a room with her. But I wouldn't want to be locked in a room.
That's a tough question.
Maybe just energy level. I don't think I could keep the same energy level as Kat Marshall. She's always going 1,000%. I think I would eventually be like, you got to stop.
Good one.
And coach, just lastly for you, I know back in your history of your career, you were a superstar player in the SEC down at Alabama. So while we're talking all things sports, I had to get your opinion just on the Coach Saban retirement. How are you taking that? And are you hopeful for the Kalen DeBoer era?
Definitely. You know, I was heartbroken for a day, you know, because, you know, what Coach Saban has done to Alabama and the program and just the culture he created of winning championships since he's been there with all sports teams there, you know, between golf, gymnastics, softball, I mean, track. A lot of teams have won championships, first time national champions, and it's because of that winning culture that he brings to the athletic department. And absolutely, Alabama will prevail over this. So I'm hopeful for that as well.
Well, I just had to slide that one in there at the end and
I
get
like,
your
yes.
take on the Roll Tide situation.
Absolutely.
Coach Maggie, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. We'll wish you nothing but the best of luck for starting the 2024 season, and we'll see you very soon.
Thank you, Callum. Appreciate it.